So I'll go ahead and ask. The one thing I've noticed about this show and other shows on SyFy is how involved the cast and everyone is on social media watching the event. I saw the photo last night of everyone in the room watching last night's episode. I didn't get to see it yet, but can you just talk about how it is to interact with the fans yourselves watching the episode?
It's cool. I mean, ultimately, it's such a new. It's actually not a new innovation, but it's something. I mean, all TV companies are trying to get their actors to participate, and now you'd be insane not to, because it's an instant hook in with people watching the show and people enjoying the show. You get a visceral vibe of actually being part of the viewing, the audience. It's great. And they're lovely about the show. They really get into it, and it's a great show for twists and turns and stuff that you're really not expecting. And it's lovely when you get like oh my god when something just happens. So yeah, I mean the social media aspect I think is it's huge, and it is relatively new, and I mean now it'd be crazy not to get involved.
Can you tell us where your character will be going?
Straight to hell, actually. I think. But no, to be honest, I don't like sort of black and white kind of good bad characters. I mean, I like to feel that everybody, even if they end up with an agenda, started in a sort of a reasonably the same place. And whatever happens to them, whatever makes them who they are through life, changes them, and but it doesn't mean that they're bad or good. I mean, there are some pretty horrendous people out in the world, and I guess they didn't start off that way. I don't know, but David Wheel is he has his moments. The thing I love about the writing is that they've given him moments where we can see into who the man is, and the end of this season is pretty seismic for David. A lot happens between now and the end.
Will they go into more of David's backstory?
Not in this season, just because what is playing out is sort of out of his control. There's nothing he can do with what's going on, and it's it's changing for him.
How much of your character did you actually build up versus like how much of it was scripted?
I guess, I mean, a lot of it, it is scripted. It's scripted. His storyline is scripted. I must admit, I've said to a couple of people, when I did the pilot, I thought it was going to be fairly predictable. It was going to be Romeo and Juliet. It was going to be Dallas in the future, and I was JR, and we kind of worked out and none of that happened. I mean, ultimately, everything started shifting in episode 2, and I mean, we talked when we were doing the pilot. We talked about who David was. It turns out that he was a TV evangelist, which is great fun to play and great fun to research. And as I say, I try and make. When I'm working on something, I try and make them human and not just kind of that's what he's going to do or that So they worked with me on that, and there were things that I would I'd add and sort of and talk about, and what about if, which got included, but it's all there. I mean, the writers' room is. They're great writers. They're really good.
It's amazing because your character is such a great character. I've gone from, well, maybe he's not that bad, to, oh no, he's evil, to,
do I hate him?
Do I hate him? I mean, killing Bigsby, I was like, well, that's pretty...
I know, but she had to go.
Yeah, but that's the thing, it's like, the character, it has its evil moments, but you can almost sympathize with, well, there's a greater thing there.
Well, so, the thing about killing Bigsby was that I wanted him to... It wasn't easy for him.
It's consistent.
It wasn't something that he just, I'll just kill somebody. He actually suffered to do it. And I think it now, it haunts him. But in his head, he had to do it for the good of Vegas. And obviously for the furtherance of the house wheel, but ultimately, it is at the root of everything is the survival of this bizarre colony called Vega.
What do you think is stronger pull for him, the good of the house wheel or Vega?
I don't know about that. I guess probably house wheel, but and ultimately, but that's, as I say, stuff that he holds dear and close to him gets compromised in the last few episodes. So, and it started last night.
We missed the episode last night, and we're all.
You have to see it. You have to see it. It's Amy Bailey and Roxanne McKee. It's a story. I mean, do you know what it? Oh, just beautiful.
Seeing all the reactions from you all and everybody else on Twitter, and we were just, I had to close my app. I was like, I don't want to know anymore. Just like seeing your guys' reaction makes it better,
It was absolutely stunning. And there's stuff that happens to David and William that.
I love that.
I love the dynamic when they confront each other, and then there's a secret. And I think were each one of you given a secret that for your character? I think that's what you were told.
I wasn't. No, others were. Shivani's got a good one up her sleeve, but no. I mean, David is very much a kind of. He is what he seems to be. The introduction of him being a TV evangelist came later, just because when we talked about it in the pilot, he was a politician, but I think they wanted it to go. They wanted to go deeper than that. Somebody who's become a politician, but ultimately who was very good at reading people and kind of manipulating people and sort of taking their faith and using that to his benefit.
Do you have a preacher that you're sort of modeling him after?
No, I looked at a few, and there are some very interesting people out there. But I also looked at when I was preparing for the pilot. I looked at a few politicians. There was some fascinating stuff, absolutely fascinating. And what is bizarre is watching it. I remind myself of somebody. I don't know who quite. I'll finally get it. I don't think it's Donald Rumsfeld, but
Now that you said that, I want to figure out. Who do you base your accent on?
It's just. I mean, I've done a few American accents. I kind of wanted something which wasn't too discernible. There was originally. I'm trying to think where I was supposed to be from, because in the pilot there's a scene that will probably end up in the DVD that ended up being trimmed because of the scene with Ryzen at the beginning, where I say I was from. I can't think. Vaughan will tell you where I'm from. But he's a mixture of American roots. I think it's one of those, I mean, I've worked hard on that. And much as it upsets people that I'm doing an American accent, I sort of on Twitter in the first few couple of episodes, people are saying, "Why would you ask Anthony Head to do an American accent?" It's like, because it's a character. I mean, I'm an actor, and they do. It's like, why would you ask him? He's got such a lovely accent. It's like, but it gives me, as an actor, it gives me a huge number of new choices that I can make, and the fact that I don't feel that I know myself when I watch myself. It's like,
That's got to be great.
It's fantastic, and it also gives you sort of nuances that your own accent. But I mean, for instance, nobody complained when I played German in Warehouse 13. Go figure.
But for whatever this reason, people, I asked Twitter for questions, and the most questions I asked that were asked about you was about the accent. They were really freaked out over where was the accent.
Where was it? Where was my own accent?
An evil British twin.
Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
put straight on?
Yes.
Get your act together. My life's a movie. I leave you in that act forever.
My life's like a movie. My life's like a movie. My life's like a movie.